Hey, what's up out there? David Duford here at Duford Insurance Group, where I train and recruit agents to become top producers in final expense Medicare annuities, all face-to-face or over the phone. And today I'm going to answer the question, has COVID-19, coronavirus, the pandemic, has it destroyed the face-to-face market? Certainly that's probably a concern of yours if you're looking to get into the insurance business and you're wondering if anybody anywhere is actually letting you see them face to face, like real life in person. Well, the good news is that it does actually still work in some select markets, although I will say certain ones definitely have felt the brunt of the impact of what the pandemic has wrought. So I think what I'm going to start with is talking about those that have been most impacted and then conclude on those that I think have been least impacted, if at all, period. So the ones I think that have been most impacted by this pandemic, as far as the ability to conduct business, are any types of insurance agents that have to go in front of a prospect that is a business owner or an employee. So for example, if you're seeing people who you would normally cold call on at their place of business, or perhaps you're a benefits enroller and you're enrolling people face-to-face into a program, no doubt those business models have been dramatically affected. It is more difficult now to get in front of people to do business, as many businesses have been closed or are closed, or the owners aren't necessarily working out of the main office. So I think if you're getting into a business model where it would rely on some sort of prospecting to business owners, or maybe you sell some type of employee-based product to their employees, I think that market's probably going to be, if not the most affected out of all of them. Now, what hasn't been affected, surprisingly, you may find, is the senior market. And I say surprisingly because I think it's pretty clear to everybody, no matter where you fall on the realm of how big of a deal you think this is or isn't. People who are most affected by any kind of disease are the people who are elderly, infirm, and have pre-existing health conditions. Of course, that's basically most everybody in the 60 and older crowd. But strangely enough, that the ability to see them face to face really has not changed all that much. And I want to suggest a few reasons why that's the case to give you a better understanding of why, if your desire is to sell face to face, but you're concerned about whether or not the prospects are willing to see you, why it still actually is a great opportunity. So I think, first of all, the pandemic has wrought on what I would call a major life event or an inflection point in people's lives. And if you know anything about insurance, so if you're brand new to insurance, this is really good, a lesson, if you will. Insurance is purchased around major life events. Think when you got married or had a child or got a job or got a promotion at work or bought a home. Chances are you bought some kind of insurance, right? Homeowner's insurance, you picked up life insurance, health insurance, mortgage protection insurance, car insurance if you bought a car, right? So coronavirus, the pandemic, is a major life event. It affects all of us in some sort of way. And when the TV screams at us that people are at risk of dying all the time, it's natural for people to think about related issues to dying, such as paying for final expenses, or, in our case too, taking care of health issues with quality Medicare coverage. So this has kind of been more top of mind for our prospects. And meaning they're more interested than normal in talking to an agent and qualifying and solving these problems as it relates to Medicare, quality Medicare coverage, as well as life insurance too. And then the other thing too, I think now it's September 3rd when I'm filming this. I don't have any data for this, but I think there is an essence of somewhat of a normalization of living with this pandemic, if you will. People are fine more now than I think they were 6 months ago when it all started, to wear a mask, to socially distance, and to not let that get in the way of trying to run a life of normalcy. So what we have, the agents that go out there, they're prepared to counter the objection of pandemic risk. For example, they'll carry a mask. They'll carry hand sanitizer, wear gloves, or offer to sit out on the porch instead of go inside. And what you'll find too, guys, is that if you find a prospect who really is interested in our products, whatever it is that you're selling, they will make decisions based on those unique variables. Whereas they may tell everybody, I don't want to be around any strangers, I'm worried about this or that happening. If they see you show up, you're well put together, you're smiling, you're happy, you look like you're not a sick individual, like from an illness standpoint, and you're offering them something that's of interest, and you show them how you can handle for some of these concerns, it's very highly likely they're still going to see you, okay? So I think all of this has happened long enough that the initial concern of what's going on, what are the long-term ramifications, like in March and April, that was a little bit more unfounded or new ground, as it were. And I think some prospects, definitely not all of them, but they reacted in kind of a fear-based mentality. But I think it's gone on long enough that our prospects, despite being in the higher risk category, are more inclined to see us and aren't necessarily reacting in the same kind of fanatical type of way because of their fear. So this is why I think in the senior market, if you're interested in face-to-face sales, I think it's gotten better, really, since all of COVID-19 has started. More people are open-minded to taking care of things related to their health and their death. It directly affects our prospects. And of course, one of the greatest reasons I like selling to final expense, Medicare, and annuities to the senior market is our clients don't have to worry about losing their jobs as a function of them paying their premiums, whereas everybody else out there does. Even if they would see in person, who's to say the next 6 to 12 months won't bring some sort of economic calamity? There's enough things going on that would be concerning to anybody about what the long-term ramifications are of the steps we've made as a country as it relates to our economic health. Whereas our seniors, quite frankly, already work to pay to get their income. And Uncle Sam stopping cutting a check every month to seniors is probably the least likely thing to happen because there are political consequences. It's a bipartisan issue. As I like to say in my group coaching calls, there's no Democrat or Republican stupid enough to try to threaten to get rid of that stuff. So has COVID-19 affected the face-to-face market? Sure, in certain markets. But if you're selling something like final expense, senior markets like Medicare and annuities, the likelihood is very little that you've seen any major impact at this point. It's really all ships ahead, full steam ahead, and get out there and help these people that really need it. And if you're interested in doing something like selling final expense, either face-to-face or over the phone, that's something in my agency at DeFord Insurance Group we can help you with. We help agents by training and recruiting them to sell final expense, Medicare, and annuities. And if you're interested in learning more, it's very simple. Just go to my website. It's davidduford.com. You should see a couple of pop-ups, buttons, etc., whether you're on desktop or smartphone, that suggest becoming an agent or possibly joining my agency. Click one of those buttons, and then you'll get some information on how my agency works and how it can benefit you to turn you into a great producer in any of those particular options that we offer. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any commentary on how COVID-19 has affected your business, feel free to input it below. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Take care.